Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Figures of Sport podcast. We are on episode 77 of the Figures of Sport podcast. Guys, I am so excited for today's episode because we have so much to talk about. Obviously, we've got the MLB postseason going strong. We're going to be talking about the championship series, going on in the American League and the National League. And then obviously we've got football. Week 6 had some thrilling games, some upsets, a couple duds, but we still are going to find the best out of the week to make sure that we are creating the best content for you guys. So again, welcome to episode 77 of the Figures of Sport podcast. And as you guys know, a big thing here is that we are trying to make sure that you guys are liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and making sure that you are sharing this with as many people as possible. If you could just do us a favor and share this with 5 people, it would go a long way. We are currently on the journey to 100 subscribers. Again, I know it's not the biggest number in the world, very small, but it is a huge accomplishment for us. And it would really mean a lot if you guys could share this with people to try to get us closer to that number. So please and thank you. But without further ado, we are going to jump right into this week's episode of the podcast. And the first thing that we are going to talk about is, of course, the American League Championship Series. Now, I know in last week's episode, we were talking about the Division Series, but we're going to move on and talk about the American League Championship Series because we're already 2 games in, and I want to make sure that you guys know what my thoughts are for this series right now. They're 2 games in. The Mariners have a 2-0 lead over the Toronto Blue Jays. And, that game, too, was a dominant win over the Blue Jays. And on top of that, these are wins that are coming in Toronto, which is crazy. I really did not expect the Mariners to really kind of come out and dominate game 2, especially after that close game 1. I really thought that the Blue Jays would have a chance to really kind of stay in the fight and even things up after that second game. I genuinely thought that they were going to go to Seattle in a tied series. I think ultimately I'm going to have the Mariners winning this series. I've said for quite some time that I do like the Mariners in this series. And, they were one of the teams that I really liked to come out of the American League in general to go to the World Series. I just think that their rotation is significantly better. They're deeper. And those guys over in Seattle, they're ready. So this has been a great series, though. Now, game 3 is tomorrow, or technically today when you guys are watching this episode, right? Wednesday. It's going to be George Kirby on the bump for the Mariners and Shane Bieber for the Blue Jays. I think it's going to be a great game. I'm really excited. I do think that, I guess I thought this for game 2, but I'm going to say that Toronto takes game 3. I just don't see them going down 3-0. Ultimately, I do have the Mariners winning this series. That's just my personal belief. Up 2-0 already. The next, I believe, 3 games are at home. So they are going to have a chance to end this series in Seattle, if I'm not mistaken. I can't quite remember off the top of my head if it's 2-3-2 or if it's 2-1-1-1. But being that, the Mariners are up 2-0, I think that if this is 2-3-2 format for the home and away, I think that they have a chance to end this series here. I just don't think the Blue Jays are going to get swept. A gentleman's sweep is something I see more likely. But that kind of leads me to the next question. So do you think that the Blue Jays can come back to win this series? Remember, they're going to have to win 4 games out of the remaining 5 potential games. So so let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'd really love to see that, and I'm excited to hear your guys' thoughts. But next up, we're going to move to the National League Championship Series really quickly. And right now, as we are currently recording, the Dodgers and the Brewers are currently playing in Game 2. But I did want to just touch on this series because obviously this is a big one. The Brewers handled the Chicago Cubs in Game 5, and it was a close series. The Cubs had all the momentum after Game 3 and 4 and put the pressure on the Brewers. But the Brewers were able to come up clutch and close that series out. But speaking of coming up clutch, one person that did not do that in Game 1 of the NLCS was Bryce Terang. Man, I know he wishes he could have that at bat back. He took a pitch that was, would have destroyed his kneecap, right? But then swings at the next pitch a fastball that's basically eye level with him to end the game when they had runners in scoring position, and would have given them the opportunity to tie the game or even take the lead and walk off the Dodgers in Game 1. But got to give a shout out to Blake Snell for the Dodgers. Had an incredible outing. 8 innings pitched, 10 strikeouts, only allowed 1 hit. The single run that was earned by the Brewers came in the 9th inning, I believe against Roki Sasaki, who I believe gave up his first run of the postseason since they moved him into the bullpen. So that is going to be something to see if the Brewers can bounce back from that. They had an incredible defensive play as well with the bases loaded. I believe Sal Frelick was in center field, bobbled the ball at the wall, catches it, and then guns it home. But a bit of a bonehead mistake by Teoscar Hernandez. He should have absolutely scored on that play. He just, I guess, kind of forgot that you have to tag up on that, or you don't have to tag up on that, I guess. So, but yeah, today's game, Game 2, like I said, is currently being played, and that is between Yamamoto's on the mound for the Dodgers and Freddie Peralta is on the mound for the Brewers. So we will keep an eye on that as soon as we're done recording. And, like I said, it sucks that this game is being recorded and we're kind of talking about it current tense as opposed to past tense to give you guys my full thoughts on the series right now. But, I think the Brewers bounce back. Like I said, we're recording this Tuesday as the game's going on. I think the Brewers bounce back in Game 2 and even up the series. And so my next question is this. Do you think that the Brewers can win this series? Or in general, who do you have advancing? The Dodgers or the Brewers? Let me know in the comments below, guys, whether it is on our Instagram channel, our TikTok, or here on YouTube. I would love to see your guys' comments on who you think will advance to the World Series out of the National League side of things. Now, before we even transition over to the NFL talk, I just want to say that I'm going to, like I said, predict that I originally had the Phillies making the World Series and winning the World Series, actually. But I'm going to say I'm going to go with the upset. I'm going to go with the Brewers coming out of the NL and making the World Series against the Mariners. 2 teams that, are very no one thought in the beginning of the season that we would be talking about those 2 teams as teams to potentially make the World Series. But I'm going to say that those teams are the teams that punched their ticket to the Fall Classic this year. And actually, as we are currently recording, we just got news that the Brewers have struck first. They have scored on a Jackson Chourio home run. Right now, the score is currently 1-0. Jackson Chourio on the first pitch he sees to lead off the game hits a home run, and they're starting off with a bang. So, like I said, guys, as we're recording, if things get very interesting, we'll give you guys a quick update later on in the episode. But right now, it's looking like my prediction is looking solid. But let's not get too premature there. Now, guys, obviously last week we didn't have George for the episode. Was a bummer. Did give him a quick shout out for his dub against me in fantasy, though. Unfortunately, I had to give him his props. But guess what? He is going to be joining us for this week's episode. George, welcome back to the podcast, man.
It's good to be
Welcome
back,
back.
man. It's good to be back.
We are glad that you have come back for episode 77. A brief hiatus. George had some things to take care of last week, but he made some time for us this week, and we are very, very happy to have him back.
Yep.
So, without further ado, we are going to jump right in, and we're going to kind of follow the same format that we did last week, guys. We're going to talk about some of the best games of Week 6, and then some of the most disappointing games of Week 6. But we're going to start first with the best games of Week 6. Now, George, I've got a few games that I wanted to just kind of throw at you, and I want to hear your thoughts. So the first game I want to talk about is the Panthers and Cowboys game. The Panthers win that game 30-27. Dramatic finish. A game-winning field goal as time expires. Rico Dowdle rushed for 183 yards, and Carolina kind of pulls off the upset. And on top of that, Tet McMillan finally breaks the no touchdown drought and finally gets his first touchdown of his NFL career. What were your thoughts on that game, man?
Yeah, it's kind of a shame what's going on over there in Dallas. I mean, if you're a Cowboys fan, or if you're just watching Cowboys games, or even if you're just looking at the stats after the game, you can obviously see that Dak Prescott is having himself a year this year. Obviously, he's the highest paid quarterback by yearly salary. He's making $60 million a year, and so far through the first 6 weeks, it's looking like he's earning every single dollar that he's getting in those paychecks, because I mean, he is just single-handedly keeping the Cowboys in these games. This is just a brutal way for the Cowboys to lose. I mean, they said getting rid of Micah Parsons is supposed to try to help them in this run game, and Rico Dowdle, man, what a revenge game for him. Over 180 rushing yards, and he gets a touchdown, I believe. Does he get the touchdown? I think he gets the touchdown.
He did get a touchdown.
And it's just sad to see what could be a Dak Prescott MVP level year going to be wasted because of how many points this defense is going to be consistently giving up. I mean, what the Cowboys can possibly hope for at this point is CeeDee Lamb maybe making his return this week. And, they're already putting up anywhere between 25 to 30 plus points a game offensively so far, even though he's been out. Maybe adding CeeDee Lamb back in the starting lineup can give the Cowboys an extra 7 to 10 points a game. But now you're hoping, you're needing Dak to do even more than score 30 plus points a game on offense, because your defense is giving up over 30, and it's going to be a tough season down the road for them, especially in the division where I know they're struggling, but the Eagles are still 4-2. The Commanders are there. They were just in the NFC Championship last week, and now the Giants are making some noise in that division as well. The NFC has really taken a big leap this year. I mean, if you look at all the teams in the NFC compared to the AFC, there's only one team in the NFC with with one or less wins, and it's just the Saints. The Saints are the only team in the NFC with one win. Everyone else is very close in their division with 2 or 3 and 4. Now, it's not like the AFC where you have teams like the Raiders, the Titans, the Jets, the Dolphins, where you have some leeway room. Like the NFC has some teams that are putting up fights in their division right now, and it's going to be very hard. It's going to be very hard to pick 7 teams for the playoffs here. It's going to come down to the wire.
And to go off that, as you were saying, Baltimore, Miami, Cleveland, and Tennessee all have 1 win. The Jets have 0. So you've got 5 teams. 5 teams there with a total of 4 wins. So,
but I would put the pause on Baltimore for now. I mean, Lamar has not been playing the last couple weeks. I feel like when you're talking about those AFC teams that have 1 or 0 wins, like the Jets and the Dolphins and the Raiders, or the Raiders have 2, but they're not. They got that win off Tennessee, and then the Tennessee fired their head coach. That says, if you lose to Geno Smith and the Raiders, you get fired, basically. So I'm putting the pause on the Raiders, being good right now. But the Ravens being a 1-win team is something no one had in their bingo card, especially for this year. I feel like they have the bye this week. Get Lamar some rest. He's supposed to be back in week 7. Week 8 against the Bears. He's making his return. I mean, I think they have a somewhat favorable matchup. I mean, I think they only have like one or may at max 2 games they can lose the rest of the season to try to make this playoff run. But they're definitely not a team where if you put them against those other teams we named in the AFC that have 0-1 or maybe even 2 wins, I still would have the Ravens beating them no problem.
For sure.
You know what I'm
For
saying?
sure. I was just more so highlighting the fact that, the amount of teams in the AFC compared to the NFC as far as 1 win.
Yeah, and
teams. It's a shock.
Even with the NFC, look at the Saints, right? I know they're 1-5.
They are feisty 1-5.
They are a feisty 1-5. The only game where you look at and you're like, okay, they look like a 1-5 team was that game against Seattle. They lose very closely in a very close game against the Niners and the Cardinals. They get blown out by the Seattle Seahawks, and then they keep it close with the Bills, and then they almost come back. I mean, let's be real. If the Saints got the ball back with 6 minutes left, down 6, you're kind of worried a little bit there against the Patriots. I think Spencer Rattler, I mean, I have to eat my words here. Like earlier I said, it's kind of an embarrassment thinking that Spencer Rattler is a quarterback that you were confident with as day one as your starter. But, I mean, what Kellen Moore is doing over there, I understand they're 1-5, but with the roster that they have, the fact that they're keeping these games close and almost winning, it says a lot. And it shows, like, if they just added some more talent on this roster, like maybe some of those wins could turn into those losses could turn into wins, and they could possibly be a 3-2 team or a 2-3 team at this point.
Yeah,
so I think they did find, especially the Saints, they found their head coach. But going forward, the NFC is going to be a tight race to get those 7 teams for the playoffs and those last 3 teams for that wild card spot. But yeah, going back to Panthers Cowboys, Panthers get the 2-game win streak. Rico Dowdle puts them on their back again. Cowboys, I guess, I mean, they need CeeDee Lamb to put up more points because they put up 30 a game, but the defense gives up 30 plus too.
Yeah. So just to point this out, so offensively, the Cowboys are the number 1 offensive team in the league at total yards at 387.5 yards per game. And when you go off defensive yards allowed, they are dead last at 411.7 yards allowed per game. So obviously that defense is struggling big time. And like you said, Dak is putting up a great year. And honestly, I feel like the biggest thing with Dak is that we've always kind of, seen that some of his numbers are coming in garbage time, when the game is already out of hand maybe. This year, he is the sole reason I think that the teams are even in the games from the jump.
100%.
So the fact that we are seeing that performance from Dak right now, very impressive for sure.
Yeah.
But it's a shame because, this is a team that if they had a somewhat competitive level of defense, they could truly be a solid team and possibly make a little bit of a run.
And to see what Dak, like before and early in his career, his thing was he would always turn the ball over a lot, and he's not doing that.
He's not doing that.
Not doing that a lot, especially without CeeDee Lamb, and he's got George Pickens there, and the run game they found them. I think they found themselves their running back in Javonte Williams. I think he's been stellar for them so far this year, and they still got Jake Ferguson, and he's not turning the ball over, especially in games or shootouts where he's got to throw the ball out like almost 40 plus times a game. So he's playing at a high level. I mean, we're kind of seeing. It's too early to call it yet, but I mean, we're seeing it from last year when Joe Burrow had an MVP type season, but it got nullified because of that, how bad that defense is. We're possibly going to be seeing the exact same thing happen with Dak Prescott and the Cowboys this year.
Yep, 100%, man. I'm right there with you. Now we'll move on and we'll talk about the next game. It was actually a game from yesterday, the Falcons and the Bills game. Probably one of the best games, I guess, maybe to kind of watch. I think the ending was a little bit disappointing, but overall, I did think it was a good game to watch. But the Falcons took this win coming off the bye. They win 24-14. Bijan exploded, had a career high 170 rushing yards. He also, I believe, had 6 receptions for 68 yards, if I'm not mistaken. So over 230 total yards of offense from Bijan by himself, and a touchdown on top of that. Drake London had a great game as well. On the receiving end, also had a touchdown himself. But what was, I think, the most surprising thing was from this game was that we saw Atlanta put up 21 points at halftime. and then score 3 points in the entire second half. So, I mean, shout out to their defense for not allowing the Bills to kind of come back into this game, but very disappointing kind of end after such an exciting first half.
Yeah. And this, I mean, we really the Falcons defense has one of the better pass defenses in the league this year. And we saw it on display now. And I mean, the Bills, their defense is just, I think they're going to have to make a big time trade before the deadline for their defense, because I mean, their run defense is just terrible. We saw, I mean, I know Bijan Robinson's one of the top backs in this game, but 170 yards.
Yeah.
And then also giving up like 150 to Drake London in the air. Like they gotta do something there. I mean, James Cook has been one of the better backs this year, and he's been one of the better players for the Bills this season. And the fact that they weren't using him at all the first half really shows. And they took a big. I know Atlanta comes out firing hot, scores that touchdown within the first 3 to 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
But you just there's no need to panic. Like, you need to stick to what you're doing. I mean, James Cook has been a very reliable player on your team so far this year, and especially last year. But also, if the Bills don't make that defensive move before the trade deadline, I do see maybe they go and get a receiver, because you saw, I know like we just said, the Falcons have one of the better pass defenses, but just no one could have gotten open for Josh Allen yesterday, and they just couldn't get anything open in the passing game. And they need to fix this up, because that's 2 losses in a row now, 4-2. You lose the number 1 spot in the AFC East to the Patriots now. I mean, you do. I'm not panicking on the Bills yet, because I know they're going to be a playoff team, but this is for when they make the playoffs. They have to make these key additions and fixes, or else they could be first round exits if their defense is playing like this.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you see teams that can get stops on the other end. I mean, we saw the Patriots do it last week. There's going to be other teams, possibly, just hypothetical, but the Broncos are a team that can get stops. If that was a first round matchup, we saw them play the Bills last year, right? And the Bills were able to kind of manhandle the Broncos last year. I just don't necessarily see that happening right now unless they make a big move, because this defense is so easy to exploit. And it's kind of a shock, because I feel like in years prior, we've seen Buffalo have a strong defense, maybe not the best defense in the league, but a strong defense that can kind of hold up and get some stops and really, do some things for them that allow the offense to go do more things on the field. But it's just, it's not coming easy on that defensive side right now. So
it's really not.
Yeah. So they'll have to clean that up. And like you said, I do expect a trade at some point, but we'll move on to the next game that I want to talk about. And it is the Giants and the Eagles game from Thursday Night Football. Man, what did we watch? I mean, we saw the Giants go in and absolutely manhandle the Eagles. I
just want to give a quick shout out to the Eagles for messing up the parlay for last Thursday. Thank you for not doing your job and losing us some money. But I mean, going to the game,
2 weeks in a row that our teams have not done. Great reads overall. I mean, by you for on those cookups, but it's just poor performances.
Performances. I mean, that happens. It happens in the NFL. But going to the game, I mean, the Eagles, they got to get this offense. They got to get this offense going. I mean, this is the second week in a row where, I mean, you're struggling. Jalen Hurts is missing open people. He's not looking for his main receivers, throwing a pick in the end zone that almost was a pick six. I mean, Saquon Barkley had 30 yards rushing on 30 plus yards rushing on the first 2 plays of the game, and then it went nowhere the rest of the game. It went nowhere. I think he finished the game with less than 60, I think.
58, yeah.
Yeah, so he got 28 yards outside of the first 2 plays of the game.
Yeah.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
And I mean, this is a Giants defense, and I know the Giants have a very solid, defensive front. Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, Abdul Carter. Those guys are very solid players, obviously, right? But you give the ball to Saquon Barkley 12 times in this game, and I get it because you're down early, but Saquon, you have to let him get going, And I think, back-to-back weeks, he has, a total of 20 carries or 18 carries in 2 weeks. So that's not, last year we obviously saw a difference where Saquon's getting 20 plus carries almost, it feels like every game. This year we're seeing his usage go down and down and down. And it's just, and it's no wonder that we're seeing this Eagles team struggle, because at least we kind of saw through the first 4 games that they won. You saw that, okay, the pass game isn't there, but obviously Saquon and Jalen Hurts are going to run the ball, get you to where you need to be, and then they'll score and they'll win the game, right? This week it was just not like that. It's disappointing, but huge shout out to the Giants for their performance. I mean, Cam Scadaboo had an incredible game, 3 touchdowns, over 100 yards total, 98 yards on the ground, 2 receptions for 12, so 110 total yards from the rookie. And Jackson Dart, I mean, he did exactly what he needed to do. He rushed for 58 yards himself, had 195 through the air. Wan'Dale Robinson had 6 catches for 84 yards and a touchdown. Like, they did exactly what they needed to do to win this game. And, it just I think it makes me worry about this Eagles team. I think we had some concerns early on with the pass game, but I think this is a game that really kind of goes to show that those worries that we had early on in the season are still there for sure.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's a Patullo thing or if it's a Hurts thing, but I mean, some of the play designs there are definitely questionable. But then you look at that play where there are 2 of the plays I'm going to talk about specific, where the deep ball to Devontae Smith, where it was a walk-in touchdown, the easy 7 points, overthrows Devontae Smith wide open, and then the one where he throws the pick in the red zone. I mean, before the play's even called, like I was looking at the screen like, oh, this is man coverage. Like, you can easily tell it's man coverage. Stack the box up. You got one-on-ones everywhere. What are you going to do? If you see a one-on-one, you got to go to your best receiver, A.J. Brown. They snap the ball. It's a clean pocket. And instead of looking for his best receiver, who, by the way, it's another walk-in touchdown. If you go back and watch that play, he runs a little like post over the middle. Safety's playing back. It's a walk-in touchdown again. Another walk-in touchdown. He throws the out route to Dotson, gets picked off, and that's basically ball game there.
Yeah,
that's basically ball game.
And I don't understand why Dotson is the first read there and not AJ Brown. It just,
I don't know. I mean, if the viewer at home can determine that the defense is in man, I'm sure a caliber player like Jalen Hurts would have easily noticed that too. And when you see man, that's what you kind of hope for, because you hope for a one-on-one and your chance for the best receiver, and you give it to your best receiver to go and make the play. His best receiver won the route, was wide open there in the end zone, and he doesn't give him the ball. It ends up being a pick. I mean, what do I know? I'm just a fan. Maybe he saw something different. That's why he gets paid the big bucks. He does, and the Eagles got to pick it up. But going for the Giants, man, great game for the Giants. Defense looked great. I'm going to say that the future could be looking bright with that backfield over there in New York, and with the way we saw the Broncos play against the Jets in London this week, I think this could be a favorable matchup for the Giants. The Broncos did not look good against a winless Jets team on offense.
Yeah.
I mean, the defense, looked good. I mean, it held a winless team to 10 points, but the offense couldn't get going at all. And, oh, man, the Giants, they have some good matchups coming up.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Quite exciting young team, though. Like you said, I like that backfield right now. But we'll move on. Next game we're going to talk about is the Chiefs and Lions game. Chiefs win that game 30-17. Mahomes looked sharp. Kansas City defense stepped up big time, man. They limited, Jahmyr Gibbs. They limited Amon-Ra St. Brown. And, guys like Sam Laporta and Jamison Williams were really the guys that did the damage for them. But I think the game plan for the Chiefs was, we're not going to let their main stars kill us. And they did that. That was their goal, and they accomplished it for sure. So it was I think it was a bit disappointing, because I expected a better fight from the Lions for sure. And defensively, I think that, it just wasn't there wasn't enough from the Lions at all. But what do you think?
Yeah, I mean they had some injuries on their defense, but that's not to like take away from what the Chiefs did. Like they had a great game all around. Um, the Lions, yeah, you saw a couple of plays. Amon-Ra drops the ball, or him and Jared Goff and Amon-Ra couldn't connect. They couldn't really get the run game going there. Gibbs got bottled up a couple of times. I mean, it happens. You know, you're gonna lose a game every now and then. I'm not panicking too hard if I'm a Lions fan, and you know, like they're still gonna be one of the top teams in this league and one of the juggernauts. It just football goes that way sometimes. You win them and you lose them. It's any given Sunday at any time and any time, and it happens. I mean, I do have some questions about some play calls though. I mean, the goal line touchdown to Goff when Monty threw it to Goff. Yeah, I mean it worked, but I don't get the guts, the call there. Why would you call a play like that there? You're on the 1 yard line. You see Gibbs tried 2-3 times, couldn't get it in. Why? If you're gonna go for it, which I mean any team would at that point there, you're on the 1 yard line. Why not just give it to Montgomery who can just battle it in there, or find it, or a QB sneak it in there? Like you're gonna run a trick play there on the 1 yard line. I mean, it ended up not going in their favor. Then they get backed up, and then they had to settle for 3 there.
Yeah.
It's a gutsy play call. It didn't work out. But sometimes, I mean, the Lions are known for having gutsy play calls. They're going for it a lot on 4th downs and doing all the trickery and stuff like that. But sometimes, like, sticking with the basics can actually help you, you know, and not pulling out your bag of tricks in a game like that where you're on the 1 yard line and you just need to get a quick you need to get the touchdown right there. Chiefs offense looked good. I mean, the run game was there a little bit better run game there from Pacheco and Kareem Hunt. Hopefully they can maybe build on it and get some more out of there, or if they're going to make a trade for a running back, go ahead. I think they should. But I mean, if I'm a Chiefs fan and I off a win like that, and then you get Rashee Rice back this week, the offense is going to be moving. I mean, Mahomes is playing out of his mind right now. Another 3 touchdown, 4 total touchdown game for him, over 250 yards. He's looking good. Kelsey was good this game. He had about 70 yards on 8 catches or something like that. He was playing really well. We didn't see Tyquan Thornton this game, which was, I don't know what happened there. He's been having a good year so far. Juju Smith had a good game. Defense was moving. I mean, you held a top 2, probably the best running back duo in the league. You held them to under 100 yards combined.
Yeah,
I see that's a pretty good. Day for the Chiefs defense there, and they're moving, and you know
they had a rough start. They
started 0-2. I think
they're 3-1 in their last 4. So
yeah, they're 3-1 in the last 4. I mean, the Chargers did get a win this week, so they're still at the top at 4-2. I think it is right, 4-2.
Yeah.
But they're still fighting for that spot in the AFC West, and it's going to be a close race for them.
Yeah, I agree. Now, George, the last game I want to talk about is a game that I think we've all been waiting for since last year, the rematch. Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams. Chicago Bears come out on top. They win this game 25-24. So like I said, they get revenge after last year's crushing loss to the Hail Mary in Washington. But I think the biggest storyline here was DeAndre Swift. What a game from DeAndre Swift. He totaled over 170 yards of offense and a touchdown. Big game for him, man. I think the first 4 weeks of the season, the Bears struggled to get the run game going. And, coming out of the bye, they made a change at left tackle. They benched Braxton Jones. They started the rookie Theo Benedict, and surprisingly, a lot of DeAndre Swift's big yard gains were on that left side behind the rookie. So shout out to both of them. The rookie for stepping in after the bye, and DeAndre Swift for kind of putting the team on his back, man. Hell of a day. Listen, I think, as we kind of saw at the end, and I think you know this just as much as I do, but Jake Moody got called up, right? Jake Moody, we've known over the last couple of years, he's really, really struggled as a kicker with San Francisco, right? And he kind of lost them some games, or didn't allow them to stay in some games because he couldn't make some field goals. when that kick was going to be the deciding factor whether or not the Bears won this game, I don't think I couldn't even watch it because it would have been the perfect way for the Bears to lose. Like, that's perfect Bears fan fashion, to just watch this game and get your hopes up and then lose it like that, you know? And he stepped up, got called up from the practice squad that same day, and he delivered. He had a great game. Shout out to him, man.
Yeah, and
it was.
I mean, what a story for Jake Moody. I mean, you get cut from a team that drafted you in the third round a couple of years ago. You had some troubles there. You get picked up to go in the practice squad for Chicago. Yeah, he just said the day of the game gets called up because Cairo Santos has that quad injury. And you ask him to go out there 5 times for you, and in some shitty weather, heavy winds, some rain, and he nails 4 or 5, and one of those being a game winner. Like, what a redemption game for Jake Moody, and what a get right game for the Bears in total and for DeAndre Swift. I mean, I know I wasn't here last week, but if we were going over predictions, I don't give a who the Bears are playing. I'm taking them to win every single time, and I would have taken them this game too. DeAndre Swift against one of the better teams in rush, and one of the better rush defenses, had over 100 rushing yards and 160 over 160 total yards in a touchdown offense. And then for one of the better, I think they're the best rushing team in the NFL right now, the Washington Commanders. We held them. The Bears kind of shut that down. I mean, that was a pretty good rushing defense display for the Bears this week, as knowing how bad they have been in rushing yards allowed. So,
rushing, they are third. Yeah,
so they're one of the better rushing teams in the league, and I think, what was the total rushing yards they had this game?
Let's see, I'm pulling that up right now.
The Bears played amazing on rush defense.
I mean, the Bears defense in general played great.
Yeah. I mean,
multiple takeaways.
There was a lot of
124 total rushing yards, but the thing was, it was timely, errors that they caused. The fumble, things like that. That was what mattered.
The Bears defense did come up clutch. There was a lot of broken explosive plays for the receivers. That happened a lot with the Luke McCaffrey and the I think his name was Lane, that did the double move on Tyreek Stevenson, and then the one with Moore that ended up in the end zone. But all in all, this was a great win for the Bears. They needed this win. Win. The Bears, I think they said, I don't know if it was 2-11 or 1-10.
They were
1-10 on game out of the last 11 on games after the bye. They had 2 weeks to prepare for this game, and you could tell Ben Johnson did just that. He spent all 2, and I even, there was a report that came out. Apparently, I know Kevin Barrett said that he spent some time at Epcot with his family for a little bit, but there's reports saying that a lot of these Bears players during that bye week they didn't go nowhere, and they stayed their asses home and they practiced during the bye week. That shows how much Ben Johnson has changed this team. To even Caleb Williams said after the game, like, this we wanted to win this for coach. Like, every day we get up, we want to win for Ben Johnson. Mm-hmm. And that, I mean, the culture is changing there. It was a great win. I mean, I'm gonna talk my shit a little bit. People were saying like weather inclements here. It was in favor for the Bears. I mean, the Bears played in the same weather and we had no turnovers. The Bears played in the same damn weather and we had no turnovers. Jaden Daniels threw the pick in the end zone. It was a bad throw. Bill fumbles, and then Jaden Daniels. I mean, the bad handoff because the ball slips out of his hands and the Bears recover there too. Yeah, I mean, was it a fluke luck play? Yeah, but you can't apologize for that.
All that matters at the end of the day is who wins and who loses.
Yeah, and who wins. And who says the Bears still win that game? They still have to go in field goal range and kick and make the field goal with a backup kicker who's known for missing kicks, and in the same weather too. That would have been the perfect way to describe the Bears if they marched on the field and they missed that kick. That's the Bears that everybody knows. And
that's the Bears team that would have lost last year. That team last year would have won or would have lost that game.
That's the same way the Bears would have lost every single game the last 3 years. You like, oh yeah, that's how the Bears lost. Yeah, that's normal for them. But no, this is the second week in a row where they kept fighting to the very end. and it worked out for them because they don't give up. And that's the culture that they have over there in Chicago, and that's what we want to see. Now you go back home after 2 road games, and you got the Saints with a feisty team. And now this is a must-win game for the Bears.
Yeah,
this is a must-win game. You cannot lose this game. You win this game, your stretch is favorable. You got the Saints, who are 1-5. You have the Ravens, whose defense is very bad. They're also 1-5. You're getting Lamar back after being out for a couple of weeks. So if you're gonna have to play Lamar, this is the way you want to play Lamar after being out a couple of weeks. Then you're on the road for that. You're on the road again for the Bengals, who, you got to win that game too. And then you have what? You have the Giants, the Vikings, and the Steelers. So this is a very favorable matchup for the Bears these next 6 games.
And they got to get back on the Vikings.
You got to get back on the Vikings. The Steelers game is going to be a tough one. I think the Ravens one's going to be a little tough one too to toss up there. But I think they need to win at least 3, hoping for 4 of these next stretch games. To have a bright future going ahead.
In the meantime, though, bear down,
man. It was a great win, great team win.
Yes, sir. Now we're gonna move on, George. We're gonna talk about some of the most disappointing games of Week 6. And real quick, I'll kind of just list them off, and I want to hear your opinions on them. So the first one is the Broncos and Jets game. 23 total points scored in this game. An ugly game, man. And on top of that, in this game, we saw that Justin Fields took 9 sacks, and the Jets had just 82 yards of total offense. Sorry, 13-11, my bad. 24 total points of offense combined. Then the next game was the Rams beating the Ravens 17-3. Then the Raiders 20 to the Titans 10, Steelers 23 to the Browns 9, and then the Seahawks Jaguars game 20-12. Seahawks win that game. So what were your thoughts on those games?
Yeah, I mean, the Broncos Jets game, I mean, that was just a bad game. I mean, Justin Fields is horrible. I mean, and people are saying it's the teams that are letting him down. Dude, he had guys open. He was just holding on to the ball that game. At one point they had the lead for a little bit, I guess, but they couldn't do anything. Justin Fields is bad. I mean, it is bad over there in New Jersey where the Jets play. I don't know. They gotta get rid of everybody and start brand new. And Aaron Glenn has not really done anything. I don't know. The Jets are just in shambles right now. Justin Fields is not good. Garrett Wilson.
The Jets, though.
The Jets are the Jets, man. They are just bad. Broncos. I mean, I know you win, but it's not impressive.
No.
That was horrible. I mean, after having a good win the week before against the Eagles.
Yeah.
And then you come and do this.
Yeah.
I mean,
very disappointing.
How do you go from having a great game against the Super Bowl champs to having a game like this against an 0-5 team? Yeah, I mean, any given Sunday, but that was terrible. Rams, Ravens, 17-3. Puka gets hurt with that injury. Was able to come back in the game, but didn't receive a target the rest of the game. Said he's day to day, unsure if he's going to play or not this week. I mean, Rams needed this win after coming off that loss against the Niners the week before. Good win, Ravens. I mean, the defense played better. I'll tell you that. That defense played better this week. For sure. They need Lamar back though, and they need him. You have to buy this week. Hopefully, he's back and healthy to go for Week 8. That's all I'll say about that. Raiders, Titans. I mean, Titans, they fired their coach, so hopefully Tides can turn over there. Raiders. I mean, you beat the Titans. Good for you. I mean, you have 2 wins now in the season? 3 wins?
2 wins for the Raiders.
2 wins for the Raiders. I mean, I don't know. Are playoff hopes still there? That's a question mark. We don't know. Steelers, Browns, 23-9. My main concern is how come I don't know why Stefanski didn't run Quinshon Judkins more. I mean, he's been their whole offense so far since he's been back, since he's been eligible to play, and it's like you just forgot about him all of a sudden. You're making Dylan Gabriel throw the ball 52 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
52 times is crazy.
That's a big question mark there.
Yeah.
Steelers get another win. I mean, what are they, 5-1 now? I mean, if you would have told me the Steelers would have been 5-1 and leading the AFC North,
No, 4-1. They had a bye.
Four,
Week 5.
4-1,
Yeah,
4-1, and leading the AFC North by 2 games.
I would have
And
said you're crazy.
the team that's in second isn't the Ravens. That would have been some question marks raised there. But
Yeah.
I mean, good for the Steelers. Seahawks 20-12 against the Jaguars. Kind of disappointing in the Jaguars to see that.
Yeah.
I mean, after a big win against the Chiefs last week, Trevor Lawrence gets sacked 7 times this game.
Yeah.
I mean, that was absurd. But I will say this though. Sam Darnold and JSN, what a connection that has been this year. I mean, I know we were talking about Puka Nacua possibly having the all-time receiving most receiving yards in his season, the way he was going, but now that he's hurt, might miss some time. I mean, JSN, I mean, he could be close to that too. I think he's pretty close to that too.
Yeah.
He's having a great year. They got rid of DK Metcalf. They really went all in on JSN as being their number 1 receiver, and it has been paying off dividends for them. What I would like to see now, though, is the run game be developed more. I mean, Sam Darnold is airing it out. JSN is having a great year. Let's get the run game more involved, though. I don't know if they're really hot right now. They're a hot team right now, but can it be sustainable to have Darnold just air out the ball 40 times a game, maybe 45 times a game, and consistently win? We got to get this run game going.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't understand. Kenneth Walker also has been significantly more productive in the run game than Zach Charbonnet. Yet it's like the Seahawks hate him. I don't get why. 2 weeks in a row he's been out touched by Zach Charbonnet. And, when you look at just this, I don't want to stat, or box score watch here, but if you just look at the numbers at the end of the game, Kenneth Walker has better numbers than Zach Charbonnet after week, right? So, and for me, I understand if you're trying to do the committee thing or whatever the case is, I get it. But my thing is, you have to develop this run game a little bit more so that this pass game is more sustainable. Yeah. There's no way you can continue to throw the ball 40 times and rush the ball 15, 18 times a game, maybe 20 max, and expect it to just go perfectly, and keep winning games. Because eventually there's going to be times where teams are going to start to double JSN. And then when you can't get the ball to JSN, then what? You got to get down the field somehow, right? And if JSN isn't the guy to do that, maybe use your running backs that you have there, preferably Kenneth Walker, because maybe I'm an invested fantasy owner of Kenneth Walker, right? But, just in general, get the run game going a little bit more so that way we can – I would love to see a record-breaking receiver, The last time I saw someone set a record, it was Calvin Johnson, correct?
No.
He
broke the receiving record, but
right.
We've had 2 Triple Crown winners in the last 4 years.
But I'm saying, in a dominant fashion, you've got Calvin Johnson, you've got Cooper Kupp, you got Jamar Chase, things like that. But the receiving crown, that was Calvin Johnson's, correct?
Yeah. I think he has the record for most receiving yards in a season. Tyreek Hill came close a couple years ago, but he missed some time with an injury. He was at 1,700. I think he could have broken it.
So, if we have the opportunity to see that, right, I would love to see it. But guess what? That might not be able to happen if, JSN is getting doubled.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it will develop over time. They're hot right now. They're playing very well. I think we'll see it start developing more and more as the games go on, because they're gonna have to rely on it a little bit more. But that's all I got for these games for this week, man.
All right. So now, George, we're going to do something different. We're going to add a new segment to the show, right? This is something that I thought would be a great addition, because we've kind of cut the full recap of the week. But one thing I want to do is I want to talk about some of the storylines heading into the next week, because obviously this episode comes out on Wednesday. Thursday, there's football. Then Sunday, then you got Monday. So heading into this week, I want to talk about some of the top storylines for week 7. And the first thing, we kind of hinted at it a little bit earlier, was that Rashee Rice returns to the Chiefs offense. Man, that is going to be scary. Mahomes has been hot as of late. He has been one of he's been QB1 this season in fantasy terms, but overall he has kind of reverted back to, the last couple of years. I think we've seen like a slight decline in his production. Not Mahomes like standard that we kind of saw early on in the career, 2018, 19, 20, 21 even. But this year it seems like that's kind of taking a turn, and they're going to get Rashee Rice back this week. What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I think this is something that's going to spark this Chiefs team even more. Like getting back your number one receiver. I mean, again, even with Worthy being back, like Mahomes is like still hesitant to have been throwing to Worthy lately. I mean, it's been mainly Kelsey and a little bit of Juju, a little bit of Worthy. Tyquan Thorne is seeing some in there, but when Rashee Rice comes back, it's gonna open up this passing game even more for the Chiefs. And man, it's gonna be kind of scary to see how many more points they're gonna be putting up per week with Rashee Rice back. Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tough for opponents.
Yeah. Now the next storyline I want to talk about is Rico Dowdle making his case to take over the starting RB role in Carolina, or is it just the fact that he's played two of the worst rush defenses in the league back-to-back weeks that's allowing him to have this type of production?
It could be both. Two things can be true at the same time. They did play the Miami Dolphins and the Cowboys, who have pretty bad rushing defenses. But I mean, the performances he put up, it's like he single-handedly almost won in both these games.
Yeah.
I mean, you do have Chuba Hubbard there.
If they just paid him.
Yeah, correct me if I'm mistaken. They gave him a contract, so like they're not gonna just not give him the ball if they're paying someone there. Teams don't do that. Like if you're paying someone, they're gonna use you there. But I do expect Rico Dowdle to be one of the main focal points of this offense going forward throughout the season, especially if this continues. Remind me who they play again this week.
This week, let me double check.
Or are they on bye this week?
No, they're not on bye. This week, I believe they are playing. Let's see if things want to load for me. The Panthers are playing in week 7. Let's see. 1 second. They get to face the Jets.
Yeah, so you can expect another big Rico Dowdle game this week for all you bettors and fantasy owners. So yeah, I think Rico Dowdle will be. I mean,
Chuba Hubbard may be back though. Chuba Hubbard may be back.
He may be back, but two things can still be true at the same time. He played some of the worst, some of the worst rushing defenses, but he's also like carrying them to those 2 wins, especially like the Panthers isn't a team that we're going into the season. You had them beating Miami in Dallas.
Yeah.
But now they're 3-3. I don't see them being a playoff team, but I think they're a team that's going to be like, you're going to have to fight hard if you want to beat us.
And I'll be honest, they may not, like you said, they may not be a playoff team, but they might be a team that breaks your team's heart as they try to chase a playoff spot late in the season.
Yeah.
A week 15, week 16 loss to the Panthers, for example, I'm just using them hypothetically because they're in the same division, but for let's say a Falcons team, right? If the Bucs are in first place and the Falcons are looking at a wild card spot and they lose to the Panthers again, kind of like they did early in the season, that could kind of ruin their chances of making the playoffs. So that's a team that I think is going to be, you got to keep your eye on them down the stretch, because like I said, they could be a team that breaks your team's heart and 100%. Their chances to make the playoffs. So shout out to the Panthers though, man. I also have Chuba Hubbard on one of my fantasy squads, so I pray that Chuba Hubbard at least maybe gets some goal line touches, please. Something. I need something. Please. Something. So, but the next one we're going to talk about, which we also talked about a little bit before, is that the Titans fire head coach Brian Callahan. Good. What are your thoughts there? I think it was about time.
Yeah, I think
too long.
I think they need. He was doing Cam Ward and the Titans no favors by being there. Still, he's not developing him. That they need to get rid of him. And I mean, I don't know who's going to be the interim head coach there, but I mean, maybe. Before we get to predictions, I'm gonna go on the limb here and say possibly, with the way the locker room might be now that he's gone, Titans could possibly be on upset alert against the Patriots this week. But that might be a little bit of stretch.
There's always something when you fire the head coach, the team just gets like. Didn't the Bears win after they fired Eberflus last year?
No, they fired Eberflus, and they're still losing, but because they fired him after the Detroit game, and the only game they won was the last one of the season against the
You're right.
Packers.
You're right.
But
But they put up a fight. I'll take that. But
I think this is detrimental to helping Cam Ward develop, because I don't think Brian Callahan was doing that at all, and they need to find someone because you have the number one overall pick in Cam Ward, and I think he's going to be a good quarterback in this league if he can get the right person to help develop him in this league. And I'm tired of seeing number one overall quarterbacks be busts in the league.
That's 4 in a row, though, by the way. The last four number one overall quarterbacks selected have had their head coach fired during their rookie season. Trevor Lawrence, Bryce Young, Caleb Williams, and now Cam Ward. 4 straight.
And I'm hoping that what happened with what happens with Tennessee doesn't happen like we've been seeing with the Bears. Like they get a rookie quarterback with a coach that's already that's been there, and then after 1 year they'll fire the head coach, get a new head coach, and then the quarterback doesn't work out. You get rid of the quarterback, get a new quarterback, and then it's just a repeating process of you're not getting the quarterback and the coach at the same time. Like you're the guy you're hoping to lead this team is not drafting the quarterback that he wants. He's going there to a quarterback that's already there. Like
you're never on the same page.
You're never on this. He doesn't bring in the quarterback that he wants. He's going there to coach a team that's already got their quarterback. Maybe he doesn't even want, but he's just there. Yeah. So hopefully the next guy they hire will be someone that can help Cam Ward develop in this league.
Now the next one is a quick one. It's more of a yes or no. Are the Jets the worst team in the NFL?
Yes, the Jets are so bad. The Jets are so bad. I think they have a chance to go 0-18 and lose it in their bye week. Like they're just so bad.
You're not wrong.
They are bad. Wrong. They are so bad.
Yeah. Now the last one, I gotta ask it just to end this storyline, because they are now most likely going into Week 7 without Bucky Irving, without Mike Evans, possibly most likely without Emeka Egbuka, without Chris Godwin. They've been banged up since the beginning of the season, and they're still winning games. Is Baker the front runner for MVP through the first 6 weeks?
He is the front runner for MVP for the first 6 weeks. Look what he's doing. He's 5-1. He's 5-1. His 2 of his 3 best receivers are out. And Egbuka's shining this year. Don't get me wrong. Like, not to take anything away from Egbuka, but man, Baker is balling this year. He is balling this year, and I'm gonna say this right now. If he goes into Detroit on Monday night
with a banged up receiving room, possibly
even without Egbuka, if Egbuka's there, but if Egbuka also doesn't play and they beat Detroit, I don't see anyone else that can take the MVP from Baker this year.
And right now, if you're kind of looking at betting odds, right now I believe the favorite is Josh Allen and then Mahomes, or Mahomes then Josh Allen. I think that's BS. I think it's Baker all day long.
Yeah, but I think the sports books are doing is they don't want to take that they don't want to take that risk at putting someone like Mahomes and Allen at crazy plus money.
Yeah,
because of how good they are and what they do in this league, that they can still win it.
Of course.
So they're taking the safer bet at putting them as favored, and then having someone. Yeah, they don't want it.
It makes sense.
But
if you're someone strictly looks at those as like who you're kind of leaning for, don't watch the games and understand what we're talking about here. Yeah, because Baker is the guy right now.
Yeah, but can you imagine like the sports books had like Mahomes and Allen at plus 500, plus 650 at MVP odds?
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden they turn it around the rest of the season, and they're a clear front runner MVP or someone's a clear candidate. They're losing so much money on that. They're gonna keep those guys at favorable odds for them because they know that they can be MVPs at any point.
All right, you're right. Okay, now George, as you know, we're going to shift over and we're going to talk about the Week 7 predictions, right? So you know that we fly through these real quick, who you got, who you don't. And then if we want to talk about them a little bit more, we'll talk about them. But we will jump right in. The first game we got this week, Steelers and Bengals on Thursday Night Football. Steelers.
Give me Steelers.
The London game on Sunday, we got the Rams and the Jaguars. Possibly no Puka. Who you got?
The Rams defense has been looking pretty good, but I think this is a get back to on track game for Jacksonville. Give me Jacksonville in this game if Puka doesn't play.
If Puka doesn't play, I'm leaning Jacksonville as well.
Yeah, if Puka doesn't play, I'll take Jacksonville.
All right, Bears and Saints. Give me the Bears.
Give me the Bears.
Dolphins and Browns. Oof.
Give me the Browns.
Give me the Browns.
Give me the Browns to win this game. Give me
the Browns to win this game too.
Yeah.
Chiefs and Raiders. Give me the Chiefs. Rashee Rice. Perfect game for him to come back and play.
Yeah.
Get things right. Chiefs. All right. Next up, we got the Eagles and the Vikings. JJ McCarthy possibly back too? Question mark. I think this is the get back or the get right game for the Eagles. They start to fix things here after that loss.
I don't. Give me Minnesota.
All right, we'll see.
I think Brian Flores' defense is going to wreak havoc over here for Philly.
We'll see. All righty. Jets and the Panthers. Give me the Panthers.
I'll take the Panthers, but this is going to be so funny if the Jets get their first win on a team that's on a win streak right now like this. Right. Yeah, give me the Panthers though.
Titans and Patriots.
I'm going to call the upset on this. I'm going to take the Titans.
After firing their head coach, I mean, I kind of got to roll with you. Give me the Titans. Yeah. Next up, Giants and the Broncos.
I'll take the Giants.
I'm leaning Giants too, man. Next up, Colts and Chargers. I'm going to go with the Colts here. Chargers are way too banged up.
I'm going to take the Chargers. I'm going to take the Chargers. I think that win, they are getting something back with that win. Like they're back in their mojo. And Indianapolis almost lost that game to Jacoby Brissett and the Cardinals. I mean, yeah, give me the Chargers.
All right. Green Bay versus the Cardinals. Give me Green Bay.
I think I'm going to take Arizona on this one. I think I'm going to take Arizona, even if Kyler plays. I mean, Jacoby Brissett played damn near perfect that game against Indianapolis. If he plays too, I'm going to take Arizona on upset alert here.
All right. Washington and Dallas.
Give me Dallas.
I like Dallas too, especially if CeeDee Lamb is back.
Give me Dallas.
Dallas. All right. Sunday Night Football. We've got the Falcons and the Niners. I think this is going to be in San Francisco too. But
is Kittle expected to be back this week?
Kittle should be back this week and possibly Pearsall as well.
I'm still going to take Atlanta. I think I'm going to. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be
Atlanta's.
I think it's going to be high scoring, but I think I'm going to take Atlanta on the road here, man. Bijan has just been on fire for them lately. They have one of the better pass defenses in the league.
And San Francisco's defense is obliterated.
They're just battling so many injuries. I'm going to take Atlanta.
I'm leaning Atlanta too here. And then on Monday night, we've got a doubleheader. The Bucks and the Lions, and then the Texans and the Seahawks. Give me the Bucks here, man. I think Baker's going to roll. And then on the other side, give me the Seahawks. I know the Texans are coming off a bye, getting some guys healthy, and their defense is pretty stingy. But the Seahawks have been rolling, man. Give me the Seahawks and the Bucks for Monday night.
I'm going to take the Lions. I do think the Bucks could win this game with how well Baker's been playing, but I just don't. I just can't really give in to the Lions losing 2 in a row and then also losing at home. Yeah. Right now, I gotta roll with Detroit. I think, man, I really believe that the Bucks can win, but I gotta roll with Detroit here, man. They want that win back. They want to get right after that loss, and I'm gonna take Seattle too. I'm going to take Seattle at home against the Texans.
All right, George. Next up, we've got a segment that you specifically introduced. So do you have the best and worst performances in front of you?
I do.
All right. I'm gonna send it back over to you because I tried it last week, but I think you do a little bit better. So go right ahead.
We're going to rattle these off quick like we're on ESPN style, baby. Best quarterback performance this week is Mahomes with 257 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and the rushing touchdown. By far the best QB this week. Wide receiver, man, you had a bunch of good ones. Drake London last night. You had a bunch of good receivers going, but George Pickens ultimately has the best performance this week with 9 for 168 and the touchdown. For running backs, again, Rico Dowdle had an amazing back-to-back game, but it's going to go to Bijan Robinson with 170 rushing yards and 6 catches for 68 yards, and the touchdown. And for tight end, Dallas Goedert, 9 for 110 and the touchdown. Dallas Goedert, and if he's still on waiver wires for you guys, go and grab him because it looks like he's the only one getting the ball besides Saquon Barkley in this offense. So
Well,
I would
no
go
joke.
grab him. The worst performances now. We're going to go with Justin Fields. 9 completions for 45 yards and 31 rushing yards. Just abysmal. He's so bad. Running back, Quinshawn Judkins. I am so sorry to have you on this list, but 12 carries for 36 yards. I don't
blame you, Judkins.
I don't think it's your fault. I mean, you did play a good defense, but they didn't run you nearly enough. Like your production has been so good, and they only ran you 12 times and let Dylan Gabriel throw for over 50. That's a shame. Cortland Sutton, 1 catch for 17 yards. I mean, that was just a horrible display for the Denver offense after coming off a great win against the Eagles the week before. They got to figure it out on how they can stay consistent week to week. And tight end Hunter Henry, 3 catches for 27 yards in a game that was kind of close for the Patriots, but it was the Kayshon Boutte game all day for over there in New England. He had a great game, and that's all it is for best and worst.
All righty. Now, also that Cortland Sutton performance absolutely lost me my week. You want to know something? In the one league that we are in together, I had starting Amon-Ra St. Brown, Hunter Henry, Cortland Sutton, Quinshawn Judkins, and who was the last guy? Because he sold me out too. Oh, Chase Brown. Those 5 players combined for 29 total points.
I think you might have to make a general manager move on that team over there, man.
Brother, I need to. So we'll have to talk after this episode. I might need to make a trade because I think in that league you're about 5-1, 4-2, something like that. I'm 1-5.
You know how it is over here.
I've still got hopes though, because you never know in fantasy football. You can go, you can get 5, 6, 7 losses sometimes and still make the playoffs. So the season isn't just done yet.
This is just
we'll talk.
This is just a little friendly banter in fantasy leagues, but I think you have the same odds of making the playoffs as the Jets do, to be honest with you, buddy.
All right, relax. We're not Jets bad. I still got Amon-Ra and Cortland. I still got talent. We're just not.
You about to really say you have Cortland Sutton after a 1 for 17 performance for him this week? I think this is the second time in 6 weeks he's made the worst performance list.
And you want to know something too? Last year I traded for Cortland Sutton, and then the first game I get him. I'm so excited. I'm like, I get Cortland Sutton. Dude puts up a straight 0. Then guess what? When after that week, I needed to win that week to have a chance to make the playoffs because I think I finished 8th in the league last year out of 12, and obviously the first 6 make it, right? So I lose that because he puts up a 0. Then guess what? Once I'm out of the playoffs, the guy becomes a top 10 wide receiver for the rest of the season. Screw you. Had a chance to win this week. Screws me.
That happens.
It's all right.
But hit the line. We maybe have some trade talks going.
We'll talk about it. But next up, we have the waiver wire targets for week 7. Now, George, I've got a couple guys, and I'll just spit them out real quick. And if you have anyone else, feel free to add. But one of the guys, if he is available, because news came out that Omarion Hampton is expected to miss more than the minimum of 4 weeks on the IR. Kamani Vidal, if he is on waivers, do whatever you have to do to get him on the squad. I'm not going to say, especially if you're in a FAAB league and you have to drop a lot of, bread on him. I'm not going to say empty out your entire tank for him because remember, he is going to go back to being a backup once Omarion Hampton returns. But if you have the possibility of getting him on waivers and you maybe don't have to pay an arm and a leg, he is a guy that I would absolutely go out because he had himself a game in week 6. Next up, Kendrick Bourne. Yes, I understand that Ricky Pearsall is not there and George Kittle wasn't there and Jawan Jennings wasn't, really doing much. He had more penalties than he had receptions, but that's okay. Kendrick Bourne, clearly, especially if Mac Jones is there, they have a relationship maybe from the New England days. So he is a guy that I would say to try to go out and get. Josh Downs, another guy I like a lot because Michael Pittman, I think, has been dealing with a hamstring injury. And those hamstring injuries can linger. Josh Downs is the guy that I like as well. Tajay Spears, another guy. He came off IR, and he's already back-to-back weeks. He's giving Tony Pollard competition in touches per game. And then lastly, Kayshon Boutte. He is a guy that I like. He's a guy that doesn't necessarily see a lot of value in that offense, but when he does, he produces big numbers. So those are some of my waiver wire targets for week 7. George, do you have anyone else?
I have one. I'm going to go with Tyler Lockett here. If Cal really is expected to miss time with that hamstring injury. I feel like Tyler Lockett is going to be stepping up in this role, especially as a well-known with that, and maybe a safety blanket over here for Cam Ward. And they fired their head coach. They might have some spark on offense now, like maybe get the passing game going a little bit more. So maybe Tyler Lockett could be a good investment to stash on your bench and see how it goes if Ridley is expected to miss some time with that hamstring issue.
All right. That was quick and easy. Now, the next one we've got real quick are the panic levels after week 6. Now, I've got a couple of guys. Do you want to go first?
You got it.
All right. First one, I've got Kenneth Walker. The reason I bring up Kenneth Walker is similar to what we talked about a little bit earlier. The fact that they're kind of in that timeshare between him and Zach Charbonnet. I think, like I've said before, when you look at some of the stats, he is the better runner, the more efficient runner, but they're not giving him enough. So I just think right now it's like you kind of damn near have to start both Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet, because Kenneth Walker might get you the yards, but Charbonnet might get you the touchdown. It's just a stressful situation having Kenneth Walker in fantasy right now. That's why my panic level is a little high. I'm not going to put him extremely high, but I'm probably at like a 6 right now, just because he's not getting the goal line touches that he really does need to really kind of push him into that next level of running back that you can kind of depend on. The next guy. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, yeah. I think you nailed it right there. I think about a 6. I think eventually he will start getting his touchdowns that fantasy owners are waiting to see, because he is getting the yardage for you guys. Maybe he gets involved in the passing game a little bit, maybe gets 2 or 3 receptions a game, hopefully. But I think he'll start seeing some touchdowns in the near future.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Now, the next guy, TreVeyon Henderson. I look back at some of my drafts. I spent 5th round capital, 6th round capital on a guy like TreVeyon Henderson. And I look back, and it was the biggest mistake I made, because I missed out on other guys that could have immediately impacted my team. And that's why I've been struggling in some of these leagues. And it's really pissing me off. Now, Ramondre Stevenson fumbled 3 times in the first 3 or 4 games, right? Still gets the most touches out of the backfield every single game. Antonio Gibson goes down with a torn ACL. TreVeyon Henderson still gets outsnapped by Ramondre Stevenson and has significantly less production. I mean, TreVeyon Henderson had more rushing yards and less attempts and more receptions than Ramondre Stevenson. What does TreVeyon Henderson have to do to get involved in this game? Because he has never fumbled in his career, if I'm not mistaken. That's like the whole thing about TreVeyon Henderson. His ball security is incredible, right? He's a pass catcher. He was known for blocking too, like coming out of the draft, but apparently they're saying he's not good at that now. I don't know what happened, but it's either that or Ramondre Stevenson has some dirt on Mike Vrabel, because it just doesn't make sense to me that TreVeyon Henderson is not getting the touches. You wasted 2nd round capital on this player to not give him the touches he needs, because honestly, I think with this team, too, the Patriots, if they are to get an explosive production out of the running back position, that's going to open up so much more for guys like Hunter Henry, Stephon Diggs, Kayshon Boutte, all those guys offensively, even Drake May, right? Like his running game too. So I just think for me, my panic level for TreVeyon Henderson is even higher than Kenneth Walker, because at this point, there's just no idea what he needs to do to get good playing time on this team. I'm going to put him more like a 7-8.
Yeah,
Kenneth Walker was a 6.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think I'm right there with you. And this is kind of a known thing with Mike Vrabel. Like when his time in Tennessee, when Derrick Henry was a rookie, he was not even the starter. He wasn't getting no playing time. The only reason he did get playing time his rookie year is because the starter had went down and got hurt. That's the only reason you saw Derrick Henry on the field. So it is not an unknown thing for like backup running backs who may clearly be like a better player and have better like skill sets than starters play. I think it's just going to come with over time. Maybe like at some point he's got to hand the reins over to Henderson over Stevenson, because he does get a lot of fumbles and he does outproduce him in yards on less attempts. So maybe it's something we can see going forward, but as of right now, we're not. And I think you nailed it on the head with like a 7, maybe even an 8 panic meter for TreVeyon Henderson.
Yeah, unfortunately, man.
Yeah.
But the last one I got for you is it's going to be Jacoby Myers, man. Jacoby Myers is a guy that I was super, super high on because he put up decent numbers with Aiden O'Connell as his quarterback. And, especially right now with Brock Bowers injured, I really thought Jacoby Myers was about to just have himself, weeks, because obviously we know that the Brock Bowers issue is a little bit more week to week than it was originally how they said day to day. So I thought this was going to be Jacoby Myers' time to shine. I don't know if it's just the fact that Geno isn't able to get him the ball, like Jacoby isn't getting open himself, or if Geno just sucks that bad that it's, you know what I'm saying? Because Geno's been terrible this year. I don't know which one it is, but my panic level for Jacoby Myers is probably at a 7 or 8 as well, just because you go 6 weeks into the season, and I think he has not cracked double-digit points in a single game.
Yeah, I'm at a 10 with Jacoby Myers. I don't trust Geno Smith at all. I think there's a reason why Brock Bowers is not playing. I don't think he's like so hurt where he can't play. It's just Geno Smith is bad, and I don't trust.
And I'll be honest,
I don't trust any receiver on the team that has to rely on Geno Smith getting the ball. So if I have anyone on the Raiders team for fantasy, it's going to be Ashton Genty because he doesn't have to rely on Geno Smith giving him the ball, like throwing the ball. So if I'm you and you have Jacoby Myers, just drop him at this point, dude. Like I don't see it.
I'm gonna be honest. I traded Brock Bowers. As crazy as it sounds.
I hope it was a good trade.
I needed crazy. I had Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors went down. Torn ACL. I had no real. Jameson Williams is a big boomer bust guy. Obviously we fell for that whole. He's going to be so much more involved. Whatever. Obviously, this week he has a good game while he's on my bench. Doesn't work out. Okay, fine. But I needed receivers, so I traded Brock Bowers for Tet McMillan and Ricky Pearsall. I think that's a solid deal for me.
I think it could be a solid deal for you too, especially if the Raiders keep playing how they are and Brock is not playing at all. Yeah, I think it could work out for you.
I was just not. And especially the fact that Brock Bowers' issue, you don't know what it is. But going back to Jacoby, I'm over the experiment at this point. If I can trade him in a package, if he's moves the needle a little bit more for me to get someone that's more usable, I'm doing it. I can't take it anymore. But I guarantee you, as soon as he is off my roster, or
he's going to become a top 5 receiver.
He's going to become a top 5 receiver, and he's going to go crazy, have a touchdown for 4 weeks in a row, and score 15 points a week. But that's just fantasy football, and that's my luck, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, all right, brother, we save it. We're at 117, so we're going to end this pretty quick. But before we get to the end, we've got one more thing. One of your guys' favorite parts of the podcast. It is the podcast parlay. So we've cooked up a Thursday night parlay, and we're trying to get back on the board because the last 2 weeks we've picked money lines or we've picked spreads, and we've got bit in the ass. But this week, the Steelers, they're 4-1, coming off a good win against the Browns, and their solid defense. This week, they get to play a team that has a terrible defense. We're going to go 4 legs, very quick, very simple. DK Metcalf game here. So we're going to go DK Metcalf over 58.5 receiving yards, which is his line. Kenneth Gainwell, 15-plus rushing yards. Just because Jalen Warren's there, they still are using Kenneth Gainwell. So don't think that's too crazy. And then we got DK Metcalf to score a touchdown. Remember, they are playing the Bengals, and their defense is pretty bad as well. And then end it off.
DK's on a 4-game streak of a touchdown right now.
He's on a 4-game streak. You heard it there. So, and then, of course, we got Pittsburgh Steelers money line. Again, this is Thursday night football, guys. Odds on this are plus 430. I'm sure there's going to be a boost for that too. So if you want to boost that up and increase the value of that parlay, go right ahead. And that is going to be the podcast parlay, guys. We are going to try to get something out on Sunday. I know we haven't done it the last couple of weeks. We just haven't necessarily liked some of the things that were available. So just keep that in mind. We're not going to force anything. We want to make sure that we're giving you guys a good parlay, not just force feeding you guys some BS parlay, just to kind of get that out to you guys. All right. So just letting you guys know that. But guys, we're going to call it an episode. What an episode, George. We're so glad to have you back. And also, guys, this is one of the shorter episodes that we've done with George. Going to try to keep it around this 1 hour 15. hour 20 max sweet spot. I think that's a good time for you guys. We don't want to keep you guys too long, lose your guys' interest. So we're going to try to keep it at this time going forward. But yeah, guys, thank you all for joining us on episode 77 of the Figures of Sport podcast. And you guys know, most important thing you guys got to do before you leave, before you click out of this video, make sure you like this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and you share this video with 4, 5, 10, 20 friends of yours, your friends, family, whoever, because we are trying to hit 100 subscribers. And it's a big milestone for us, maybe not the biggest for other channels or other people, but this is a huge one for us. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers on this channel. And like I said, go follow us on Instagram as well. We post so much content there. Follow us on TikTok. There's so much content there. Guys, all of your support means the world to us. We thank you so much for tuning in to yet another episode of the Figures of Sport podcast. And we will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Peace out.